Welcome back, everyone, to whatever this is. Now, it does pain me greatly to actually make these because it makes me kind of realize that the human race is doomed. But at the same time, if you're already on a sinking ship, you might as well crack a few jokes because, hey, you're going to drown anyways. So, we're going to start off again with our medical tweets. And the last one is pain. So, starting with the first one. I don't like cis because I had cancer and it reminds me of the word cyst. I believe that what we say over and over again becomes our reality, so I don't use cis for that reason. I use the FARA chart, which is the same thing, but FARA doesn't make me think of cancer. Now, obviously, this is more of like a traumatic thing for her. If you have cancer, it's not a good time. I'm hoping I never catch it. Well, not catch it, but form cancer, but we'll definitely see what happens. But this is also one of those things where we can't just not use a word because it sounds like another word. I just don't think that's going to be prudent long term because the word prudent sounds like prune, which prune juice, which somebody crapped their pants one time because they drank prune juice. I mean, any word can sound like another word that then you go on and say, well, I don't like it, so we can't say it anymore. So, no, I'm sorry, but it's not cyst. So, no. Anyways, moving on to the second one. Now, also, before we do move on to the second one, I did have a question. Now, some of these I can explain, right? Some of these are like, okay, well, this person obviously is wrong for this reason, or I can see what they're trying to do. And then some of them are just so bizarrely out there is no explanation. It's just me sitting here like, I can't believe somebody actually knows how to use their phone well enough to write something as ridiculous as what they just said. So in those cases, I want to know, like, what do you guys think? Do you like more of where I cover stuff that can be broken down? Do you not care? Is it funny either way? Just let me know, because I'm still trying to hone these things in. Okay, so the second one. 0 lives were saved. People either died of lung cancer anyways, or of some other cancer or disease. No causal relationship has been established between lowering smoking rates and increasing life expectancy. That is a big pile of crap. I mean, insert Jurassic Park, that is one big pile of shit here. Because if you smoke, right, and you catch lung cancer, good lord, I gotta stop saying catch. If you develop lung cancer, you develop esophageal cancer, tracheal cancer, mouth cancer, any type of cancer, right, then it's pretty much a direct cause of smoking. If you stop that and then you go on and catch another disease, then what does that have to do with smoking? So if you didn't catch a disease that you may have caught or may have developed with smoking, but then you go off and not catch another disease, then that has directly impacted your life expectancy because you didn't develop either. So this is basically what we like to call in the scientific world a massive cope. This is someone that's like, oh, I'm going to smoke and I'm going to live forever. You know what? That's the point of being an American. It's your choice. But saying stupid things online, it's my choice to make fun of you. And I am. Because if you stop smoking, what is it? Within like 30 minutes, your blood levels return to normal oxygen levels. Like a year into it, your heart, you have less chance of getting heart disease, like half as less as someone who continued smoking. And I believe it's like 15 years after you stop smoking, you're basically back to the level you were pre-smoking. So it takes 15 years to clear out all that crap and decrease your chances. But it absolutely has been linked to a better and healthier and longer life expectancy. So it's not a casual relationship, it is the relationship. It's a formal relationship. They are directly linked to one another. Moving on to the third one. Get off all your prescription medications you can ASAP. This is somebody who doesn't understand anything about anything. These are the type of people who think that everything can be cured if you go outside and eat some grass or something. But the reality is that medical breakthroughs are medical breakthroughs because they help you live, right? We as a species, in fact, we're supposedly overdue for the next medical breakthrough, which I believe is going to be CRISPR, but that's just me. But as far as this holistic approach, only whatever's on Earth can cure us, to quote Mass Effect here, I know, I'm a gamer, let me tell you. What does it stand before a trillion souls and ask if honor matters? It's kind of the same concept, because it's basically stand in front of people who, like in the past, believe herbal medicines were the only thing that could cure you or help you, and ask them, hey, would you have actually cared if you could take some medicine now that would have fixed it, or would you stayed on herbal supplements? They've probably been like, oh, there's medicine to fix that? I would have definitely done that. So what if you have type 1 diabetes, where it's literally your pancreas is not secreting insulin and you're relying on it for life? What if it's a brain tumor that can be shrunk with medication and then you can live a normal life? You know, there's just a ton of things that medicines were developed so that you could survive. And it's this contrarian mentality to medications. People tend to think, oh, well, you know, I'm healthy, so you don't need your medications. And it's just like, no, that's not how it works. Why would it work that way? It works that way to idiots, I suppose. So moving on to, what is it, number 4? Amazing biology lesson from someone who thinks the uterus is connected to the vagina. This person has a check mark, by the way. I'm not really sure if that's surprising at this point, but I mean, my God. This is just basic biology. This is like this is just human anatomy, right? This is the stuff that we were taught. I remember, if I remember correctly, I think it was 5th grade when I first got any sort of sex ed. And this is something that they taught us in 5th grade. It just blows my mind. And I don't know if it's like a homeschool issue or maybe having a blue check mark next to your name just turns your brain into mush. I'm not really sure what it is. But yeah, the uterus is absolutely connected to the vagina. Why would it not be? How did she think people get pregnant? God. Moving on to number 5. It will always be easier to blame germs, bad genes, or detoxing for your symptoms than it is to examine the nuances of your deeply felt experiences. All of your theories about where sickness comes from allow you to avoid the real work of personal evolution. In GHK, you cannot hide. So what is GHK? Well, GHK is a tripeptide that is in your blood. It has a lot of positive effects, basically anti-aging, anti-cancer sort of scenarios. There's a lot to it, but the thing is as we age, it basically decreases in the amount that's in our bloodstream. So because of that, I see what she's trying to relate it to. And let me be clear here. This is the same person who said the whole thing about your rectum widening to stake your claim in my last video. So, I can't tell. Actually, she's just trolling at this point. But my God, what a wealth of information. Now, like I said, GHK, there is something to be said about it. But there's also something to be said about us aging and our genes degrade over time. You know, mutations happen, could cause cancers. Our bodies literally just get older and we break down, literally. So adding in GHK is not going to just solve all of your problems. Like, this tripeptide is not going to be the answer to everything. So yeah, you can blame germs because those will make you sick. You can blame genes for possibly immunocompromised issues. Detoxing leaves you in a weakened state. But felt experiences, there's something to be said about the brain, and if you're depressed, your body's literally depressed, right? But then she adds in GHK, which it's like she's trying to connect it to your felt experiences, but then also here's this thing that you can change besides a felt experience that's like, oh, that's why. I don't know what she's trying to go for here. But hey, at least it's not widening your rectum and staking your claim, right? Moving on to the next one. Okay, this one always sounds like back in like 4th grade when a kid was trying to tell you like he could fly or he could shut down part of his body to conserve energy because he watched too much anime or something like that. Right? I had to drive home like a parrotfish last week. One side of my brain resting, other alert. Sick as a dog, fever, cough, congestion, brain fog. 500 miles I drove. Right side resting, left side focused on Tchaikovsky's Fourth, which was a lot like a hockey game. Riveting. So apparently, this person's able to pull off, what is it in 40K? Those big dudes. I literally have done a video on them. God, why I am blanking on their name right now. Oh man, Astartes or something like that. They can shut down their brains except for like certain portions of lobes so that they can still maintain a visual contact or visual information coming in, and they can process it. So if they need to wake up, they can wake up immediately. This is literally what she's saying. You cannot shut down part of your brain resting while the other side is focusing. That is not how the brain works at all. We are not a parrotfish. I don't even know, forgive my ignorance here, but I'm not a ichthyologist, so I'm not sure what a parrotfish does, but I'm assuming it can shut down part of its brain. But if you're living in the ocean, I wouldn't blame you. That doesn't mean humans can do it. Our brain, to function, is exceedingly important that it maintains contact with each other, with the pieces of the sun. Jesus, good Lord. The hemispheres. The hemispheres have to maintain contact with one another. Otherwise, you're going to have some severe issues. You can't rest one side of your brain while the other's alert. That's going to do nothing for you. I think what she's maybe, to give her the benefit of the doubt, I think what she's talking about is zoning out. Zoning out does not rest one side of your brain while the other's alert. Zoning out is just literally you zoning out. So it's not like a hockey game. You're just still awake and paying attention. I mean, if you're sick and, you know, you have a fever, cough, congestion, and brain fog, and you drove 500 miles, yeah, you probably just zoned out, my dude. Men see blonde hair and lose their rabbit-ass minds. Some science behind this: lighter hair is more likely to display signs of illness. First off, I don't know. My wife is blonde, but she's like a dirty blonde. I don't know. I like darker hair color personally. Some science behind this: lighter hair is more likely to display signs of illness. That's not true, actually. Now, it depends on what type of illness you're talking about. Because if she's basically equating it to Europeans with blonde hair, I think it's more of a gene pool issue. But no, you're not. You don't have a propensity towards signs of illness. Or is she saying that when you're sick, you're just showing the signs rather than somebody who's sick with darker hair not showing signs of illness? I honestly don't know what this person's saying. Lighter hair is more likely to display signs of illness. You know what? It really doesn't matter because it's stupid. That's not how it works. Just because you have darker colored hair. And look, I have darker colored hair. That doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I don't get sick at all. I've never displayed signs of illness. In fact, I had COVID and I had like way more signs of illness than my wife did, and she has lighter hair. So, okay. Has anyone ever heard, oh, we're back to shingles. Has anyone ever heard if shingles is on the list of side effects, please? Why would shingles be, if you get what I'm talking about? Shingles is a reaction to toxic substance in your body. No, it's not. Too many toxins and the body tries to detox through the skin. That are an overload of toxins, so absolutely yes. Shingles is caused by the chickenpox virus. It's not caused by toxins. Why would it be caused by toxins? Now, I think what they're saying here is like a skin rash. A skin rash can be caused by a bunch of crap, like stuff that you're allergic to, or some type of abrasion that your body didn't like. I mean, dermatitis can pretty much happen all the time. But shingles is a direct response, or direct result, of previous exposure to the chickenpox virus, which is basically a herpes virus. So, also, you're not overloaded with toxins. I freaking hate that crap. When you get vaccinated, it's literally either a piece of the virus, a disabled portion of the virus, or in the new ones, it's a specific mRNA. They're not just, hey, you know what would be fun? Let's inject somebody with a load of toxins because screw it, why not? Like, I get, like, trust me, you shouldn't just trust everybody in the world. But come on, are you serious? Shingles being a reaction to toxic substances. I mean, I know you're serious, but reality is much different than that. Anyways, moving on. If a man becomes sterile, he is by definition no longer a man. Do words not mean anything anymore? Well, actually, my dude, words do mean something. Sterility has nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. And it's interesting to see the mental gymnastics that go on with stuff like this. So, what is it? 99.3% of the human race is either XX or XY. XY being male, XX being female. And that's your chromosomes. Now, there are variations with that. You can end up with, 1X. You can end up with XYY. You can end up with XXY. It doesn't matter. Whatever you are, you're still it. Like, just because you can't have a kid doesn't make you less of a man. Just because you can't have a kid doesn't make you less of a woman. You're still those things. So this is what people, the ability to reproduce isn't a good metric to measure what people are by, because things happen. I mean, okay, so let's say, I don't know, you're walking in the woods and you step on a tree branch and it causes another tree branch to come up and it jabs you in the crotch. At that particular point in time, let's say you injure yourself. For a couple of weeks, you can't have kids. So for a couple of weeks, you're sterile, right? Does that make you not a man? I mean, it's stuff like this. It's just, like I said, it's not a good way to measure the actual person, I suppose is the best way to put it. All right. Making women laugh is like playing peekaboo with a baby. Laughing puts them off guard, randomizes their synapses, and readies them for a deeper rapport. Randomizes it, huh? Okay, so random firing in the brain is called a seizure. So, I don't think it's going to just randomize those things. I think if you can make her laugh, she thinks you have a good sense of humor, and she finds you funny, which, yeah, that probably does help. But it doesn't randomize the actual firing in their brains and readies them for a deeper rapport. That's just so stupid. And, you know, this is like one of those themed accounts, too. It's like, they're supposed to give you, I suppose, good advice. Listen to Papa Roanoke. It definitely doesn't involve giving them seizures, I'll tell you that. So, maybe they should check into that. Or maybe, like, you know, I don't know, write it a little better. I see what they're trying to say, but when you start treading outside of, I guess, your field of knowledge, I suppose, and you start kind of incorporating biology into hooking up and stuff, you could sound real stupid real fast. Okay. This one I actually had to react on Twitter because I was like, good God. It literally doesn't. Genes don't even exist and phenotypes can't even be accounted by them. DNA is almost completely meaningless at every level. Lysenko proved all of this, and you eat up Anglo science like slop. You submitted to them, and you're now their vassal. Bro, get some help. DNA is completely meaningless at every level. Then what's the point of it? You see, this is something that a lot of people with this mentality don't like to admit, but nature actually doesn't create something that is completely useless, right? At some point, it either served a purpose, and now it's kind of like atrophying, say like our appendix, but it had a purpose at one point in time. DNA is literally how everything is passed down. It is literally the roadmap for every single cell in your body, how to function, how to build, how to interact, everything. Without DNA, everything else is meaningless because it doesn't exist. I mean, this is like saying you have a house, right? Well, the literal wooden structure that holds, or the wooden frame that holds a house up, is meaningless. And the shape of the house can't be accounted for by the wooden frame because I can't see it. That's how stupid that is. This man needs to get off of Twitter go pick up a book. Of course, he doesn't like Anglo science because we're all eating it up like slop. Because for some reason, what you look like or what your culture is has some huge impact on established sciences. I mean, every single ethnicity, every single type of culture, all have the capability of being called by potential spam. All have the capability of unlocking scientific achievements. It doesn't matter who you are, because what science is based on is a series of observations that can be tested again and again. And if the series of observations are tested again and again, and then eventually it's found it doesn't work that way, then that wasn't the right answer. Science isn't as hard as everybody likes to believe it is. Hard in the sense of like it's a dead stop. Science is absolutely very, very pliable. In fact, I was watching something the other day about how certain mathematical equations will break down past the 7th dimension, right? So everything's not 100% known. And just remember, we're floating on a rock in space in our galaxy, and we don't even know where like the edge of the universe is. We know we can see about 14 billion light years because that's how old the universe is, or so we think. The fact is we don't know much about anything. Like our species kind of just woke up, right? It's like we haven't even had our coffee yet. So this is the type of crap that just sends us back. This is the type of crap that if the apocalypse ever happens and this guy is somehow still alive, we are screwed, because he's probably going to get into a position of power and then start saying crap like this, and then boom. Everybody's just going to, oh, well, DNA doesn't really matter. Well, then how do we make medications work? And what is cancer then? What is the point of cancer? Like, where does that come from? Could it just decides to mutate? You're not a vassal if you believe in science, by the way. I don't know what the crap that is. Anyhow, thank you for joining me on this just thought-provoking, world-destroying, the human race is doomed episode of Dumb Science Tweets. If you enjoyed, leave a like would be great. Something's a great way to stay up to date on when to post. All right, see you on the next one.